back to Robert Hardman's book, because there is something else in it that's generated a lot of attention recently, which is the news that the King reportedly recently finally cut Prince Andrew's alleged £1 million a year spending allowance. Now, a lot of people have been calling for this for some time. Do you think it goes far enough, though, or do you think that he should also evict him from Royal Lodge?
I think Andrew was always going to have a difficult time when there was a change of reign, because famously his mother, well, whether for favourite son or not, but I think as a parent you're much more forgiving of your children than a sibling is of another sibling. And that is kind of playing out in front of us now, isn't it? There's the King saying, look, you've been convicted of nothing in court, nothing's been proven in court, but reputationally you're damaged goods. You're living in this vast mansion. I would like it for something else.
And he's not a working royal. He's not working.
You're not a working royal. Do you need £1 million a year? Again, it comes back to this, and there's this whole other issue this week about the sort of private income and the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster. But the King has this private income. There's nothing to do with the taxpayers' money that he can decide what to do with. And clearly the late Queen was quite happy to give some of that money to her son, Prince Andrew, but the King isn't.
What I found most interesting in Robert Hardman's book is that he says that the Queen, the late Queen, was planning, if she'd lived another year, she was planning to
reluctantly was
Andrew
finally
from Royal Lodge. But would she ever have done it? Because, as you say, he was always thought to be her favourite son. And look, the King doesn't relish confrontation either, does he? And I think he's hoped that through these various channels, by, cutting off the security provision, because it's not within the security ring of steel on the Windsor estate, and by cutting off the funding for Prince Andrew, that might force him out, because, it's a big place. It's falling into disrepair, as we've seen photos of it. And, what does he need a 30-room mansion for?
And it's the optics of that. It's, Frogmore Cottage is sitting there empty. As you say, it's a 30-room mansion that apparently just has him and Fergie in it.
And he's adamant that he has a cast-iron lease with the Crown Estate. It's not for the King to meddle in that. He's got it till 2078, which will be beyond his lifetime, but he clearly wants to hand it on to his daughters. And that he apparently has alternative sources of income now through some of his contacts from international trade. I'm not sure that his wealthy benefactor friends have done him any favours in the past, a la Jeffrey Epstein, have they?
Yeah, no, and often got him into trouble, even if you take Jeffrey Epstein out of the picture. But no, I kind of agree with you, and what you say about optics is very important, because do you remember when they had that Easter service and Prince Andrew was sort of like front of the pack, grinning like a Cheshire cat? I kind of think anyone advising him, or maybe he should advise himself and say, well, given everything's happened, hang back, look a bit sombre, read the room, just
more of a target on his back, I think, with King Charles needing to take action as well. I personally think, that's just my opinion. But when you're right in front of everyone all the time and you have suffered such reputational damage. But before we move on from Prince Andrew, something that I do wonder is when King Charles takes this action, which he has been under pressure to do, does he put Prince Andrew in a position where he has nothing to lose? He does need to earn money. We don't know exactly how he's doing that. Are you looking at a situation where if he's cut off and needs to earn money, he's doing a Spare 2.0? We're getting a tell-all.
No, surely not.
We're getting a docuseries.
Newsnight was damaging enough for him, wasn't it? surely he can't. And you would like to think...
two films after Newsnight as well.
Exactly.
He didn't do them, but with nothing to lose.
But surely, for his daughter's sake... They have been through enough, Beatrice and Eugenie, and you do feel for them. And surely they would say, please, no.
I do think they'd be the voice of reason there. That's a good
You'd
point.
Hope.
So maybe no Spare 2.0. We'll see, though. We are going to finish up with a few quick-fire royal questions. Are you both ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. OK. Anyone can jump in first, whoever you like. So we've had that update on the Andrew saga, which has caused years of headaches for the royal family. What do you think has been the biggest PR headache for them, though, in the last 10 years?
Oprah.
Yeah, I was going to say racism allegations, although Harry went and then took off racism allegations, said I never said that. But, yeah, Oprah Winfrey, for sure.
Winfrey, because it came before Spare, came before Netflix, and the allegations that were made about racism, potential racism, but also about Meghan being ignored when she made pleas for help over her mental health.
And was contemplating taking her own life. So, yeah, for sure. But then Prince Andrew also Massively
Not great.
damaging.
Yeah.
Not great, no.
Not great. It's been a big few weeks of royal tours and events. You've both been on the beat for some time. So can you tell me what is your most memorable royal outing that you've covered, please, and why?
I mean, memorable, it has to be the funeral of Queen Elizabeth, because we haven't seen anything on that scale in my lifetime. And then subsequently the coronation. But for me, the funeral was a real moment when the nation, it kind of felt like the world had stopped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, the moment of that funeral was seeing her coffin on that gun carriage passing Buckingham Palace for the very last time as it went up Constitution Hill before it got in. And yeah, it really was.
Yeah, the funeral, the coronation, the royal weddings, all those big ones. But there are also the tours. You know, you've been in Australia, we've got Prince William in South Africa. For me, a couple of tours, going to Lesotho with Prince Harry and seeing the work he was doing with Centre Ballet, country that, you know, very few people visit. And also with then Prince Charles and Duchess of Cornwall going to the Galapagos Islands, which is truly remarkable.
I missed out on those because that was before my time. I would give you Cuba with the then Prince Charles and Duchess of Cornwall. That was just fascinating, just being in Cuba, being in Havana with them, and also Pakistan with William and Kate, which was a phenomenal tour. And we went up into the Hindu Kush up to see some glaciers. That was quite something.
You guys have seen some things.
It's all right, isn't it?
You've been around.
You know, to be paid to do it is actually a bit of a privilege sometimes, isn't it? Yeah.
And so the last one, and given that you have been away with them and you've been in close proximity with the royals for some time, so lastly, Brooklyn Beckham did an interview this week and he called William the, quote, sweetest guy ever. Who do you think is the nicest royal?
My favourite royal, when I get asked this question, I've always got the same answer. Camilla, the Queen. And I said that when she was Duchess of Cornwall as well. She's always kind of the most friendly one when you do engagements. She's the one that kind of recognises what you're doing as a member of the press as well. She's the happiest to chat. I mean, I use this word sort of sparingly, but she's just kind of the most normal. And I think actually talking about the documentary we did earlier, that sort of does come through.
I mean, the Princess of Wales is quite an obvious answer, isn't it? But I've seen her in mum mode as well as in princess mode, and she is just like a normal mum with the kids and with other children as well.
And she's buying the Halloween costumes in the supermarket. And things.
Well, she didn't need to in the past, did she? Because she could have got it from mum and the party pieces business.
Oh, yeah.
But I would also say the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie, who is extraordinarily kind. Her way with people is truly remarkable. And I remember...
she quietly goes about her business.
Goes about her business. And she's also unafraid to show her emotions. I remember after the Duke of Edinburgh died and she was driving back through the gates of Windsor, she'd been one of the first to go and visit the late Queen, and we were broadcasting live for Sky, and she stopped and we asked her how she was, and she had tears in her eyes and she said, the Queen is just amazing. And I just think she's a huge asset, and the work that she does around, you know, gender-based violence in conflict is remarkable. It affects her, and she has a huge impact as well.
Thank you both so much for sharing these stories. It's been amazing to chat to you both about it all, and I really appreciate your time. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.